we're going to discuss ancient Mesopotamia. Now, ancient means something that happened a long time in the past. So ancient Mesopotamia means that Mesopotamia today, it was thousands of years in the past. Really. Now, we have something that we're discussing that's called a culture. A culture. That means a group of people that live together that have some of the same beliefs, ways of thinking, religions, kinds of food that they eat. And so the culture that we're going to be studying is called Mesopotamia. Now let's see, it was not in America. It was in a different country, a different area of the world. So if this is America, it was pretty far. It's all the way over here, right there. That's now what we call the country Iraq. So if you can see, that's here, and we are way over here. That's pretty far. Now, Mesopotamia and the cities in that country were set up close to 2 rivers. Why do you think that they were near some rivers? It's because water is very important to life. And in the Iraq area, what's called today, but in the past Mesopotamia, it's very dry. There's not a lot of water that's easy to access. So if you see here, that green is where Mesopotamia is. And the 2 blue is the rivers. Now, if we have 2 rivers, the land in between we call fertile. Now, that word means that the soil has nutrients and water, and that means that plants and animals and people can more easily live there because they have access to that important resource. Now, the rivers are very important. Why? Because for trade means that if I want, say, a shirt, and you have a shirt, but I have something that you want. Let's say I have a dress. Then I might be able to say, hey, do you want to trade? I will give you my dress if you will give me your shirt. So we might trade it. Other things that we might use today to trade are like money. So if you go to the store, you might trade money for candy. Now, because as we had talked that the land was fertile, more and more people started to flock in and set up to live close to the rivers. And the cities grew. Water was not as easy to access if you didn't live right next to the river. They didn't have faucets that you could turn on and off like we do today. You had to go to the river with a bucket, fill it up with water, and then go back to your house where you would use it to cook, to drink, to give to your animals, and many different things. So, what did that mean? That meant that the people had to become more creative, and they invented and developed something called canals. Canals are what? They're ditches that they would dig, and that would connect the river to where people lived on the outskirts. And so it helped move the water from the river all the way over here to where a person maybe had a house. And so that helped be sure that everyone had access to water so that the plants that they planted could grow, and the animals and people had water to be able to drink and to live. And if the water was not going to be used immediately, they can't just let it continue because then they wouldn't have it. So what did they do? They dug something called reservoirs. Reservoirs are what? That is like a pond. So the water from the river would go through the canals, and then they would go into the dug part that was blocked. So it was all there, and it wouldn't move, and it would stay there all the way until the farmer or the people used the water. Now let's go a little bit back, okay? We had discussed culture, right? And we had discussed that Mesopotamia was a culture that existed in the past, a long time ago. So there's a few things that are different between Mesopotamia here and America here. Let's see and discuss some of the differences, okay? So here we have refrigerators that we can keep food to eat later. But do they have refrigerators? No, because they didn't have electricity. We have electricity. We have cars. Did they have cars? No, they used horses and camels and donkeys to ride to go where they needed to go. That's different, right? We have TV, we have video games. Did they have that? No, they didn't have TV or video games. They had to play with sticks or like dice. They would play dice games or card games. We still have that, but we don't play that as much. Now, just because there's differences doesn't mean that there's not similarities. We still have a lot of things that are very similar, like family. We both have family, and friends, and community, that we support each other, right? Both cultures in America and Mesopotamia have those. All right, and that's it.